March 8, 2014, a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. But within hours, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, carrying 239 people, vanished without a trace. What happened? Was it a simple accident, or is something far darker at play? Stay tuned as we dive into one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was a red-eye flight scheduled to depart Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m. The Boeing 777 had a flawless safety record, and the pilots were experienced professionals. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, 53 years old, had over 18,000 flying hours. Co-pilot Farik Abdul Hamid, 27, was newer but eager to prove himself. They exchanged routine messages with air traffic control as they guided the plane through the night sky. Captain Zahari, good night, Malaysian 370. Those would be the last words heard from the cockpit of MH370 at 1:19 a.m. as the plane passed from Malaysian airspace into Vietnamese airspace. Its transponder went dark. The plane, along with its 239 passengers, disappeared from civilian radar. For 38 minutes, everything was normal. But then, the plane took a sudden, unexpected turn to the southwest. Why would an experienced pilot deviate from the flight path so dramatically? Was there a technical malfunction, or was this a deliberate action? For investigators, the clock was ticking. The race to find answers had just begun. As the hours passed without communication from MH370, Malaysian officials launched an urgent search and rescue mission in the South China Sea. But as days went by, no trace of the plane was found. The aircraft had vanished without a single distress call, leaving behind no clues. Was the plane hijacked? Was it a tragic accident? Or could something more unthinkable have happened? Desperate for answers, the search area expanded, and new players joined the effort. The international community sent satellites, military vessels, and planes. The search stretched across thousands of square miles, spanning from the South China Sea to the Indian Ocean. But as search teams combed the ocean, one disturbing fact emerged: MH370 might not have crashed where everyone was looking. With each day that passed, the chances of finding survivors diminished. And with no wreckage, no communication, and no clues, the story only grew darker. Then, something strange happened. Military radar from Malaysia picked up a series of signals suggesting MH370 had made a dramatic U-turn heading back over the Malaysian peninsula, away from its original course to Beijing. Satellite data from Inmarsat later revealed that the plane continued flying for nearly 7 more hours after its disappearance. But where was it going? Each hour, the plane's systems sent out a ping to satellites in the region, confirming that the plane was still in the air. But there was no location data attached to these pings, only a rough idea of where the plane might have flown: deep into the southern Indian Ocean, a desolate expanse of water where no one expected to find a commercial flight. Using advanced algorithms, search teams focused on a remote part of the Indian Ocean, 2,500 miles from the western coast of Australia. But the questions only multiplied. Why had the plane turned back? What was it doing in such a remote area? And why had no one heard from the crew or passengers in over 7 hours? Over a year after the plane's disappearance, the first piece of debris was found, a wing fragment known as a flaperon, discovered on the shores of Reunion Island, thousands of miles from where the plane was last seen. This discovery reignited the search. More pieces of debris would later wash up in places like Madagascar and Mozambique, all confirmed to be from MH370. But with no cockpit, no fuselage, and no black box, investigators were left in the dark. The wreckage gave investigators some clues, but they only deepened the mystery. If MH370 crashed into the ocean, why had it broken up so far from its original flight path? And why had the plane's systems been deliberately shut down before the crash? Could this have been a controlled ditching, or was it something even more tragic? With so few definitive answers, the disappearance of MH370 has sparked a torrent of theories, each one more compelling than the last. Some believe the plane was hijacked, either by terrorists or rogue elements on board. Others speculate about a technical malfunction, perhaps a fire that incapacitated the crew. But there's another theory, darker and far more controversial. From the very beginning, there have been questions about Captain Zahari. Was he a lone wolf, staging a mass murder-suicide? Was there political motivation? Or was this an elaborate plan that went tragically wrong? Nearly a decade has passed, and yet, MH370 remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Despite the debris, the satellite data, and countless man-hours spent searching, we still don't have all the answers. The families of those aboard the flight continue to wait for closure, but for now, they live with the pain of not knowing. In 2017, the official search was called off after 3 years, leaving many to wonder, will we ever know the full truth behind MH370? Or will this mystery remain lost in the depths of the ocean forever? The disappearance of MH370 has captivated the world and remains an unsolved puzzle. As new technologies emerge and underwater search methods evolve, there is still hope that one day the plane will be found, and with it, the truth. But for now, the mystery lingers, and the questions remain unanswered. What really happened to flight MH370? Will we ever find the final resting place of the passengers and crew? Only time will tell.